Okay, continuing with section 2.1 for MAT 1100. We were in the middle of problem number 5 in the book on page 154. So I was totaling these up and I had gotten all these numbers in my calculator and came out with 1001. That is the sum of the scores for exam number 1. And then I'm looking at how many people there, how many students there are. You can't count this right here, so you can't just use 14 because you see that first row is just for heading information. So I actually only have 13 scores here, and you can see that. Just take one off, or you can count them to 13. Okay, so you're dividing by 13, and then you put that in your calculator, and the average is 77. I mean, that seems pretty reasonable based on what you're seeing here. At least you don't have any student that completely threw the scores off by getting a 0, because that really alters what is truly happening with the test scores or with a set of any kind of set of scores. So this was the actual average. Then for number 6 on this same page, it goes into, again, defining what I already defined in the lessons note packet, that you're going to find the median. So if you're going to do the median, don't forget that order is important. You either have to put them small to big or big to small. So it's something that maybe you might put on a note card if you're going to take a test. So in this particular set of numbers, I think 54. I'm going to try and put these in order. 54, then there's 56. Put these in order. Then the next biggest one appears to be 68. And then in the 70s, we have a 71, a 75, and a 77. '71, '75, '77. Then in the 80s, we have an 80, an 81 twice, an 80, 81 twice. If you see something twice, you have to put it in the list twice. Okay, so we used those. But I think that 81 actually occurred 3 times as I'm scanning the list again. So there it is once, there it is twice, there it is 3 times. So there are a lot of those 81s. And then as far as the 90s go, we have a 92 and we have a 96. Okay, so that's kind of the pain, is putting them in order. Some calculators, like my graphing calculator, will put them in order for you, but you have the TI-30 and that's all you're expected to be using in here. And let's see if I missed any of these. I need to scan this list again. I see that I've missed the 89, so I'm going to have to wedge that right in there. You always want to check at the end before you start going to do any kind of calculation. Just go over the list one more time. So 92 and 96. Also, why it's good to do your math in pencil, so you can erase if you need to. So I have everything in order now. I got everything in the list. You can count them up. Make sure that you have 13 scores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And we're going to try and do the median. So you can look at this list here, and you see, you have 13 scores in this list. So there is going to be one that's right in the middle where there will be 6 scores on either side. So maybe you think it's this. Count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hit it right on the button. This number right here is right in the middle because there are 6 scores on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there are 6 scores on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the median turns out to be 80. Okay, so we have the average turned out to be 70. The median turned out to be 80. And then the next question that we have here is, what is the mode? And then the mode, that's really easy. You don't have to have it in order. You just look at the set and see, is there a number that's more commonly appearing than the other numbers? And it's the 81. You see that the 81 appeared 3 times where there was no other number that appeared that many times. So this would be your mode. Okay, so just practicing some problems that are there in the book. I would also like to just kind of put a pitch for the portfolio that you're going to be doing for section 2.1. Since this section has to do with finding average, median, and mode, you're going to be asked to do it for a list of numbers only. You have those nifty templates that have already been made for you, so you don't have to go and insert the numbers or the headers or anything like that because the templates already have all the numbers in there. So you're going to look at that template. There'll be numbers, and somewhere in the assignment, you'll probably be asked to do either, an average, a median, and a mode, probably all 3 of them. And it will be a command like this, where in one of the portfolios for Unit 1, you were learning how to sum all the numbers together. So you would go equal, and then you would type out the word sum. Well, here, you're going to use the command that helps you to find an average, which is a mean. So it would be equal, the word average, and then you tell it the cell numbers where the numbers can be found that you want to get averaged. Like this would be cell B1. I mean, they didn't number them here, but you'll be able to tell what cells are in because all the cells will be numbered. But in this particular page, they didn't number the cells. So let's say this is cell B1, B2, B3, B4, and B5. And as you give this command and then put B1 colon B5, it's going to add all those numbers and then divide by how many is there, which is 5. It'll do all of that in this one operation called average. Median, it'll put all the numbers in order for you and then pick the one in the middle. And if it has to use the 2 numbers in the middle where you're averaging those 2 just to get the median, it'll do that also. So saving you a lot of work and just doing the whole thing for you. Mode, it'll go through the set and identify the most commonly occurring number out of the list that you are mentioning right here. So just something to keep in mind, that these are some Excel operations that you will encounter when you go to do your portfolio for section 2.1. Okay, moving on to page 157. I also wanted to do a couple there, just so you can get to the stage where you are interpreting these numbers. These are videos I'm making. This particular camera will only make 15-minute videos, so if I have to make 3 of them, then I will. But here we go. Let's see how far I can get. So I'm on page 157 in the book now. We're looking at a set of scores here. And these are, let's see, I believe they are biggest to smallest, 88, 85, 82. Yep, they go biggest to smallest. So they're good for finding the median if you do need to find the median because they're already in order. So let's practice with this. After returning from the quiz, let's read up here first. The first list below shows the percentage of points earned by 25 students. The mean score is 69.4. The second shows the number of hours spent by the students preparing for the quiz. The mean number of hours is 3.5 hours. So somebody did the mean for this. And that mean or average, you can call it either one of those things, but please get used to recognizing the name either way. This came out to be 69.4%. And then, these were test grades, but you can see that right here. And then study time, average study time, or the mean study time was 3.5 hours. And both of those numbers were given right in the instructions. And then you go on to number 8, and it says, after returning the quiz, The professor scolds the class mercilessly, making 4 students cry. Wow, that's pretty severe. And sending 6 others to rate my professor to say really bad things. His justification, the average grade was a D. Do you think this is an accurate measure of how the class performed? Well, probably not, because if you're looking at this scores, that's what I was trying to explain to you when I first started going over this section. Now you're being asked to really analyze instead of robotically doing a calculation and just saying, wow, the class did really bad. If that's the class average, that's really bad. So that's why it's kind of better for for the instructor to also mention other things like how many A's were there, how many B's were there. You can see that when you look at all these scores right here, really the class did very well, because except for these 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 people, there's a lot more of the scores that were pretty darn high. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, there's 25 scores here, and only 6 of them, 1, 2, 3 or actually 7 of them were D's or F's. So that means 18 out of the 25 people got a C or better. And that's pretty darn good, especially when you're taking a college course. So really, this is not indicative of what happened on that test. So sometimes talking about the mean is not really going to describe what truly happened. And so other things need to be spoken about when you're reporting grades for a particular test. So it says the average grade was a D. Do you think this is an accurate measure? No. Because most of the class, 18 out of 25 is most of the class. 18 out of 25 students got a C or better. And in fact, there were many, many high scores. All of these out of those 18 were A's and B's. There weren't even that many C's. A lot of the scores, many of the scores were high. So when somebody asks you to explain something, you're not just, like I said, robotically doing a calculation. You're kind of analyzing what's right there before you and interpreting what you're seeing. Many scores are very high in this set. So that's how you would explain something like that. Now you're doing a computation in number 9. Compute the other 2 measures of average, then decide which of the 3 measures of average provide the most accurate description. And I'm going to stop it right here. So the mode, the thing that occurs the most often, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have 12 A's here. 12 100%. So that's the mode. And then the median, if you look for the score that's in the middle, there's 25 scores here. So you could go 12 scores on one side, 12 scores on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This would be the 13th one, and then there's 12 after that. So this is the median. That's 88%. So, I mean, if somebody asked you what is the most accurate description of what happened here, I mean, you could go with either one of these. The average is certainly not the most accurate description. This makes it seem as though the class did not know what they were doing as a whole, and that is not true. These were a lot of excellent grades, and then several more B's and C's after that. So you could say that this is the best representation, and you could even make a strong case for the 100 being the best representation. Either one of those answers I would accept, because you have more of this kind of score than anything else. And the median is also a very good idea of what happened on that particular test. So this is, that's kind of what we mean by when we ask you interpret the data. I did want to do some problems like that, bringing you to that level so that you're not just doing calculations, but actually looking at and answering questions that describe what is the best description. Okay, that is 2.1.